Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. As I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to show you one more feature of routing that Angular supports. This one is called lazy loading. You see, once Angular application is loaded, all of our modules are loaded as well. And with those, all of their declarations, imports, providers and more. For larger scale applications where we have multiple modules, Angular developed this lazy loaded feature. Lazy loading will give us option that through modules and routes, we load only module that is currently available for the user until user routes to different module. As we wish to have multiple modules and load them as a lazy loaded modules, we will go into our terminal. I will generate module here with ngg for generate m for module. I will pass flag for routing like this because routing module will with this flag also be generated. And also I will here create posts module. Once I run this will create the post module itself and also a routing module for a post, as you can see on my screen. In my Visual Studio Code now, we can go into posts folder here, and here next to our component we do have our post module and also posts routing module. Let's clear this a bit now. Let's create components folder inside of our posts, so components. And with this here, we will grab our components, so this CSS file, HTML, testing file and the TypeScript file of the component, and we will drag that into components here. Also here in my components I will first create the posts again folder, because this folder here will be, well, obviously into my components and posts component. So like this, drag it into the posts folder. That's it. Next to this, we see that also we do have our post component here. Let's also drag entire folder of post into components right here. So now in my posts folder, components, we do have post and posts as well. So with this, we will make sure that our posts and post component belongs to our posts module. Next to this, we should also have error in our app routing module and also app module, as now our posts component and post component doesn't come from this path. I won't bother with this much, but instead I will make sure to remove my imports for both of my components. So this post and posts component can be removed from here, and also this import from here, and in my routing as well. So here I will remove my posts component and post component, and we could remove both routes here because we will handle this posts routing differently now. If we go now to our page, we will be able to route ourselves to a home, to about page, but on a posts page we won't be able to go. As we don't have now our posts routes, we should create those. And for that I will go into my source, app and posts folder, and in my posts module here. Here in the declarations I will make sure that this post and the posts component are belonging to my posts module. So here I will import my posts component and also post component, and that's good enough. Now I will go to posts routing module, and here we will set up our posts route. We can see that this posts routing module is very similar to our app routing module. The only difference here is that here we are using for root on our router module, and here we are using for child. We are still passing this routes const to this for child, to our router module. In our app routing module we have for root that will declare our main routes for our application. But here where we are using for child, this will mean that this child, well, this is those will be our child routes and they will be lazy loaded. So now let's create such routes. So here I will create my first route. I will put path to be empty, and also component here should be passed, which will be my posts component. Reason for this, why do we have this path as empty? Well, our post's route will be visited from our root, from the root of our project, and it will lead us to our route, which is declared by our posts component here. Then here I will create another route, which will hold the path of post/id. id should be passed here as a parameter, and also I will pass component here of post component. So post component should be imported from component itself. To make sure that our child routes are working, we can go into our post module, and in our post module, in an imports array, we do have this post routing module, which will declare our routes, our child routes, so those are directly imported in our post module. And one more thing, as our application still don't know about this post module, we must import it in our app module itself. So in my app module, below my app routing module, I will import posts module, and that's good enough. One last thing that we are left to do, that is to create our posts lady loaded route. To do such a thing, I will go into my my app routing module here. Here I will create one more route, and I will pass path of posts now. Now I won't pass component as my second value, but I will pass load children as a value. As I wish to load all of my child routes, my lazy loaded routes from my module, I must use this load children here. This here will be a function, like this, and it will be an arrow function. Let me break this down a bit, so you could see it better. And that's good enough. This function will at the end import, so I must use import here, from something here. So here I wish to import from my posts module here. So here I will import from posts folder / posts module. Once I import my posts module, this will return the promise for me, so I am able to use then here, and then will return m as a module for me here. So most we use m here, or you could pass whole word like module. I will go with m. So once I have this module here, I'm able to use that module and to use posts module here, because I imported the whole module here. So my module will be imported as a child module, and here it will serve as the route of posts. If we go into our post module here, we can see that this here also use our routing, and our routing here will be our empty path, well, our posts path here for the posts component, and path itself for our separate component for our post will be separate with the parameter of id. It will use post component here. To test this now, we can go into our application, and here I can route myself to about and home, but now if I click on posts, I will be again routed to my posts route, and if I click on separate post here, we are able to see post/number1. And this is how you can simply set up your lazy loading of routes in Angular. For now, let's stop with routing and move forward to next feature of Angular. This will be all for this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please click like and subscribe, as I'm posting new content weekly. Thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.